In this post, we hike at the Rifle River Recreation Area in Ogemaw County. We're going to take a hike out here on the Pintail Pond, and if everybody wants to head on out, maybe we'll let you guys lead. You probably know the way. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're on our way. With 7 lakes in the park and hiking and biking trails almost everywhere, this should be a fun trip. So let's see how far we can trek through the park. Okay, Emil, what do you think?
Oh, we're in the great outdoors, so nothing is better than that. Especially up north, toward the end of summer, Michigan. What more can you ask for? We have a nice breeze, the temperature is perfect, and we get to hang out with the DNR and the Rifle River group today. So excited.
You're so right, Emil. We just come across the trail. As we're going down, it is an interpretive trail, so we've got some signs out here. They'll let you know about the flora and fauna that is along through here. This particular one deals with the ferns that are out here. And if you look over to the side, especially here, you will see this is a fern. And there's basically 3 different kinds that they have in here. And they will grow to different sizes. They're not something that flowers, but will just be green. And it's really pretty. And I know I've got some even at home that I have put in there that just really looks good, does a nice job. But these are the things you'll see. Leave it to me to fall behind. I want to hurry and catch up. I don't want to miss anything.
5 pairs of loons that are in all of our lakes, Grouse Haven, Grebe, and DeVoe. And the trumpeter swans, they've had their young this year, and I think they had 4, and they all look healthy, and they're not full grown, but they're a lot bigger now. But they're on Grebe Lake. They got a nest out there. They're doing really well. So,
what do you usually tell people when they do see them? I know a lot of people, wow, it's a loon, and they try to get over by it. That's probably not a good idea.
Well, we don't like to drive them out of the area because it's, a lot of people come to see the loons, and it's a very popular bird here in Michigan. But people do like to get good photographs on them, and they'll tend to paddle up, a little closer than we would like sometimes. But everybody's looking for that perfect shot, right?
What about the nesting time of the year, though?
Well, yeah, we don't encourage that because it's really important. If they have 1 to 2 young, we like to to keep them. Oh yeah, like to keep them
we don't
going.
spook them off the nest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I've been, not on this, not here, but in other lakes not far from here, had the loons go right under your boat, you're like, he's fishing, you know?
Well, and that's the problem sometimes, is sometimes they're so curious that they come to you, you know, so I mean, it's just, you can't avoid that.
Nothing says Michigan's wilderness like the lonely call of the common loon. We kept moving down the trail until we came to another interpretive sign. Alexis, I know as we're going around the trail here, I'm seeing interpretive signs around here. So this is something regular people will see along the trail?
Yep, there's multiple spots. We have this one, we have ones that talk about different types of trees. We have a swamp area that talks about that, and it just gives a lot of information about different plant lives, animals, stuff like that. Okay,
so it's a good way to go out into the woods then. Take your time, run around, but take a look at the signs, learn a little bit about where you're at, and about the things you'll see out here. The park has summer workers that are full of knowledge about the park. When you're here, don't be afraid to ask them any questions about the park. If they don't have the answers, they will find them.
The boardwalk widens up here a little bit farther. You can definitely get really close to the wildlife, but you cannot hop off of it, or it is a very dangerous situation here.
Okay, yeah, I see it is pretty swampy and stuff in through here.
Yeah.
So and you don't want to wander off into that stuff. Do stay on the trail when you're out here.
Yeah, so
it's important.
We definitely offer seating for that reason too. So.
Okay. Good place to just stop and rest. So come out with the family and stop, be quiet. You might get a good photo op. Emil, an avid outdoorsman, had some great observations.
So as we're walking along here, I'm noticing these little trails that go along through here. So the question is what is it? Could it be a muskrat, a beaver, different otters? And I'm curious on what, is this considered a wetland and what function it provides? All good questions that we'll catch up to the ranger and ask them.
These are our pitcher plants here in the park. They're pretty rare. They live only really around fens or wetland areas. Here at the park we kind of brag about them. because they're pretty rare. We like to just have people come out and appreciate like the nature and finding them. And yeah, they collect water. Basically, like they're just here in the wetlands throughout the bog. But definitely along the walkway, you can see these and spot these. And in about June, they'll have these red flowers that look like umbrellas too. You can spot those, and when you come out here, you'll definitely know what they are now.
This unusual plant, usually found in bogs, is carnivorous, feeding on insects that are trapped in its bulbous picture-like leaves. Although this carnivorous plant is a common inhabitant of acidic bogs, it is also found in fens.
So James, I was wondering, is a bog a wetland, and is a wetland a bog? And if so, what are their functions, and what's their purpose here, and how does it affect the ecosystem?
Well, they're similar in nature. Here with the Pintail Pond, this was actually underneath where we're standing. What is actually what you consider a lake or a pond, and it was just years and years of decay and debris. Put a biomat on the top and allowed other plants and tree life to grow. So actually, when we put in this boardwalk, some of the pilings that had to be driven down, they actually go down 30 feet before they hit any stable ground. So we notice you got signs that say don't get off the boardwalk and off the trail. Sometimes you can walk out into that stuff and you'll lose your footing, and you'll be in waist high, you know. Fortunately, there's trees and stuff to grab onto, but underneath this is actually a lot of moisture and a lot of mucky soils. Well, the northern fen is this ecosystem here, and it's unique to this area and to Michigan altogether. There's not very many places where you find this northern fen bog around, so this is a protected area for us, and you know, it's just a walking trail only. We don't allow any fishing or hunting opportunities in this area. So,
okay. Well, speaking of fishing and hunting opportunities, every now and then we'll see these little trails that go through the marsh here, and it looks like someone's coming from the water, then into the woods. What kind of animals would those be, or could they be, and what are they doing here?
Well, this area is historically known for holding black bear and raccoons and some of the other critters that are along here. We have the toads and the mink. We got the common snipe, different birds and newts. But there is a bear that's active that runs through here, and he crosses our main road up by the contact station. So, you know, there's a lot of wildlife and to be seen here.
Bears? Nobody said there would be bears. I've been told that if you're loud, they will not even approach you. Well, I can do that. I will just laugh really loud. Ranger Hines wanted to take us a little bit deeper into the woods. For what, I'm not sure, so I guess we will soon find out. Well, James, I see we've got a little trail that's cutting off our main trail here. Now, where does that go to?
Yeah, and so these little offshoots are typically they go down to a more scenic area where people will go and take pictures and stuff. This particular little path here goes down to Gamble Creek. So there's a little creek down here about 50 yards or so, and there's brown trout and rainbow trout in there, and a lot of the cedars, and just a really unique opportunity to get some good photos.
Now, somebody's out here with their family. We've got a nice trail here. You get off on these side trails, got to be a little more careful.
Yeah, you can lose your footing in a hurry. You know, there's a lot of uneven ground, but again, we don't like to maintain these side areas because we want to prohibit the flow of unnatural material into the river system.
Absolutely. You think we can take a walk down?
Absolutely. Let's go check it out.
Like to explore, and we do. This is the perfect trail to head down. When you leave the beaten trail, it sure is nice to have a DNR ranger to show you the way. We're down here. I see the creek right out in front of me. I'm a little ways from it right now, kind of muddy in front of me, but I'm going to catch up with everybody down the trail, see if we can't get a better look. A lot of lumpy ground, I can tell you there. I'm tripping all over everything, but there's a little creek back there, Gamble Creek. And if I'm not mistaken, there's other places that you'll be able to see this creek too. And it's just, you get these little creeks out here, they're just beautiful. They're kind of shallow, but they're running along, and they always look great. I always love to take pictures of it. Before we move into a different part of the park for some fun on the water, Ranger Hines gave us some interesting information on the park that took place over 100 years ago.
So actually the western edge of this Pintail Pond Trail is unique because it was actually an old railroad grade that was built back in 1902. So back when the Jewett family owned this, the railroad used to come through here. So this is kind of a rail trail, if you will, in some regards. But just a little history of the park. You look at it now and you wonder how in the heck did a train ever get through here? But things evolve over time, and it's just a really cool history lesson for the park.
This area was very swampy with creeks around every turn. Emil wanted to know more and asked the right questions to find the answers.
Got numerous creeks that come through here, Gamble being one of them. We got Oyster Creek, the Pryor Creek, the Houghton Creek. They all dump in to the Rifle at various points throughout the campground.
So because they're spring fed, that keeps them colder longer, right?
Yep, and it keeps the water cold. And actually, you can pretty much tell as you work your way upstream where the springs are more prominent, because learning from the fisheries guys, for the first couple thousand feet, you'll catch browns and rainbows, but as you get closer to the spring-fed water, you'll start getting the brookies more, and the brook trout will start getting closer to that colder water, because that's their habitat. They need that colder water to survive. So, you can actually see that change just by monitoring the fish population. So
and so because we're in a cedar swamp and whatnot, I mean, you have a lot of aquatic insects and whatnot in the water because of that. Is that right? Or?
Yep. And part of that survey when the fishery guys comes is they'll pull up rocks and they'll take a look underneath of them and see what they're feeding on, and whether it's a stonefly or the midge or different topwater crickets or grasshoppers or whatever. So they'll sample the food chain.
As we came off the Pintail Trail and back to the beginning, Ranger Hines filled us in on what the next part of our tour would consist of. Well, we made our way back to the beginning. A real nice trail that's out there, James, and it was really nice to have you along because we learned so much more. But for the people that you're out there by yourself, there's a lot of interpretive signs that people can read and learn about the area.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. Yeah, I appreciate you coming along with our walk, and it seemed like it was a long journey, and that's just 1 mile out of the 14 miles of trail we have.